10 years ago, our team at Blackhawk Ministries hosted our first Global Leadership Summit as a new site in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And while in those first few years, the GLS was certainly an effective tool for the purpose of leadership development within Blackhawk's own ministry staff and church family, and while partner churches and other partner organizations were starting to clearly benefit as well from the summit's annual presence at Blackhawk, I had sensed a unique willingness on the part of a local kingdom-minded businessman named Daryl Doden, and decided to ask Daryl for some help with our Blackhawk GLS host site efforts. The proposition was simple. Would Daryl and the team at Ambassador Enterprises be willing to contribute to the GLS scholarship effort in Fort Wayne by matching my own fundraising efforts? If I could raise $10,000, let's say, from private donors within Blackhawk willing to support the summit, would Ambassador give an additional $10,000 in order to make it possible for more local leaders to attend the GLS at our satellite site? Ambassador Enterprises was in fact willing, and over the next couple of years, $20,000 became $25,000 and $26,000, $27,000, and hundreds of under-resourced ministry teams and individuals from the region were given the gift of the Leadership Summit here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. With Blackhawk's host site, attendance now hovering around 400, we sensed a new whisper, if you will, a prompting from the Holy Spirit, and we followed it. You see, Ambassador Enterprises wasn't the only corporation in Fort Wayne that had shown an interest in the summit. In fact, I knew several high-level executives from a handful of those companies who had actually been attending at our site and decided to take a shot at expanding the funding vision for Blackhawk's GLS effort. You see, here's the deal. At Blackhawk, we really do believe that when a leader gets better, whatever they're leading gets better. We really, truly, genuinely believe that. We've seen it. And as we looked around Fort Wayne and our community, we realized that on the educational front, on the political and spiritual front, on the business and not-for-profit fronts, leadership development progress was actually being made. But there were still hundreds, thousands of Fort Wayne leaders that needed to get better. So I went to those that led at Parkview Regional Medical Center, Brotherhood Mutual Insurance, Sweetwater Sound, Fort Wayne Area Youth for Christ, and my old friends at Ambassador to see what interest they might have in helping the Blackhawk GLS effort reach those hundreds and thousands of current and future leaders in the Fort Wayne region. Turns out they were very interested. Not only were they ready to enlarge their financial support to help more local leaders attend Blackhawk's GLS site in 2013, but the Parkview team, they had a suggestion that was extremely compelling. Move the Global Leadership Summit in Fort Wayne away from the Blackhawk Ministries church campus. That's right, move it away. You see, it was their contention that a growing number of local businessmen and women were actually quite interested in the Global Leadership Summit, but felt somewhat reluctant to attend what was being billed as a world-class leadership training event, and yet it was still being held at a local church. To them, it didn't make sense. So the suggestion was made to move the summit downtown Fort Wayne to the brand new Grand Wayne Center, make it more accessible and hopefully more inviting to a broader demographic of people. And so we did. Parkview covered the rental cost at the Grand Wayne Center. The other corporate partners, along with private donors from Blackhawk, kicked in at an even higher level than anticipated, and the Blackhawk GLS team headed into the spring with a brand new venue and over $40,000 in scholarship funds to help new local leaders experience the summit. Needless to say, Blackhawk's satellite site last year experienced quite a bump. And while we did go from 400 to 950 in registrations, and while the Parkview guys were right and local corporate attendance was up 30%, and while attendance from the ministry sector rose significantly as well, the greatest bump came in the interest shown by a growing number of new corporate sponsors. You see, the vision and generosity evidenced by Parkview brotherhood, ambassador, and the others was noticed. And now today here in Fort Wayne, there are a growing handful of other local companies that are planning on supporting the GLS effort in Fort Wayne in 2014 to the tune of $70,000 to $80,000 additional dollars. Our hope is to see 950 turn into 3,000. And in the process, our hope is that we will see Fort Wayne and its leaders and all that they lead continue to get better and better and better.